In this video, I'll be solving questions on multiplication of decimal numbers. But before we do that, please, I would like us to take a look at this. On the board here we have what you should know. There are 3 points here on the board, but I will not talk much about point 1. Because in that point 1, right from addition, I've started talking about that. In subtraction, we'll make use of it more, where we will have to fill empty decimal place values with what? Zeros. That's good. Now point 2. What you should know when you're carrying out multiplication of decimal numbers. After arranging them according to their place values, you now want to do your multiplication. Forget about the decimal point. Don't even think about it. Assume that there is no decimal point in the question you are solving, in the numbers you're multiplying. That is why point number 2 said you should multiply in the same way as in whole number, not minding the decimal point. So don't bother yourself about the decimal point when you start doing multiplication of decimal numbers. Where do you now start thinking about the decimal point? Where do you start thinking about the decimal point? Look at what you should know. Point number 3. I would like to read it directly from the board. After getting your results, count off the total number of decimals starting from the right hand side towards the left hand side of the result, and do what? Put back the decimal point. So you see, it is after you even get your final result, you know, when you do your addition, after the multiplication, you do addition, what you get, it is at that point you now start thinking about the decimal point. There is something you have to do to locate, to determine, to find the exact place you are expected to put your point. Solving this question on the board will help us understand this clearer. So we have this question number 1, evaluate 52.3 times 3.4. How do we go about this? First of all, 52.3 and 3.4. Which one is the bigger number? 52.3 is bigger. Therefore, I will write that out with its place value. Of course, in the whole number part, the highest place value is tens. That is where this 5 is under. So I'm going to write this as tens and units. Then I'll put my decimal point. This is a tenth digit. I'll put the tenth there. If you come to this 3.4, you only have one decimal digit there, which is 4. It is still under tenth. So for this one, there will be no empty place value. Anyway, let us arrange them under the place value. 52, 2 will come under unit, 5 will come under tenths. Put your decimal point, then 3 will come under tenths. And then we have times 3.4. That 3 will come under unit, then 0.4. 4 will come under tenths. Let us multiply this out and then see. We will start with the smallest place value, which is tenth, you know, the far right, okay? Now the digit there is 4. So I'm going to use that 4 to multiply the digits on top without minding the decimal point, as if there is no decimal point there. Are you ready? I'll be fast in multiplying this. We've already learned how to multiply from whole numbers. So we go 4 times 3. 4 times 3 is 12. You record 2, you move 1 to the unit place value. Then 4 times 2 is 8. Add this one you moved, you'll get 9. And so I'll record 9 here. Then next, 4 times 5 is 20. That 20, you record 0 under tens and then shift your hand, write 2 under the invisible place value of 100. This 4 has done its multiplication and we got 209 and then 2 there, right? Forget about what we got there. Let's move on to the next multiplication. We are going to use 3 to multiply the digits on top now. Remember, this 3 is under what? Units. Is that not so? So when you use it to multiply this 10th digit, any answer you get, the first answer will come under units. Because the digit you're now using to multiply is under what? Units. So let us go. 3 times this 3 will give us 9. So where do you record the 9? Would you record the 9 under this tens? No. The 9 you got to be recorded under units because it is the unit digit you're using to multiply. 3 times 3 is 9. I'll record it here. And then next, I'll use 3 to multiply the unit digit, which is 2. 3 times 2 is 6. You are now driving to the left, you know. That 6 will come under this tens here, right? And then finally, 3 times 5 is 15. That 15, 5 will be recorded under this 2, the invisible place value of 100. Then you shift 1 to invisible place value of 1000. This is how you record that. Good. I think we are done with our multiplication. 4 has multiplied, 3 has multiplied. And so at this point, we are going to add. So let us add and see. We'll come over here, 2 plus nothing, and so I'm going to record 2 here. Then 9 plus 9 is 18. I'll record 8 and then move 1 to this place value. Then 1 plus 0 is 1. 1 plus 0 is 1. Add it to this 6. You get 1 plus 6, which is 7. You record 7. Then come to this place value. 2 plus 5 is 7. And then nothing plus 1. Of course, you're going to bring down your 1. Now that I've multiplied this, it is at this point I will now find where to put my point. This is where I need to find out where to put my point, because that's the result I've gotten. And how do I do that? Point 3, what you should know here said you should count off the total number of decimals. Come to this number. How many decimals do you have in the original number you're using to multiply? If you look at the decimal place value part, the number of decimal digits you have there are 1 and what? 2. This 3 is a decimal digit, making it 1 decimal digit. This 4 is a decimal digit, making it 2 decimal digits. So there are actually 2 decimals. That's the meaning of this. Are you following, right? Count off the total number of decimals, starting from the right. So since we have 2 decimal digits in the question I just solved, I will come to this. There is this point here. You move the point from this place. 1, 2. You know, from the right hand side, you move it towards the left. How many times? 2 times, because there are 2 decimal digits here. That's why I moved from this back, 1 and what? 2. That is what you are meant to do. Then you bring your points here. Is that okay? I can now conclude, therefore, 52.3 times 3.4 is equal to 177.82. So that is how we handle multiplication of decimal numbers. It's simple, okay? Here we did not fill any place value with 0 because there is no empty place value in the decimal digit part. Let us look at question number 2 and see how it goes. We have these 2 questions you're going to solve, question 2 and question 3. So let us go for question 2 first. Is that okay? Although you can solve any one first, the choice is yours. I want to solve question 2 first. Find the product of 6.2 and 17.02. 17.02 is greater than 6.2, so I'm going to start with the place value of the whole number of 17.02. The highest place value than the whole number is tens. So this is going to be tens and units, then points. We'll check for the decimal place value. There are 2 decimal digits in 17.02, and there's only 1 decimal digit in 6.2. So I will use this one to write out my decimal place values. I will use this one that has more decimal digits. This is tenths and this is hundredths digit. You know that. Therefore, this is going to be tenths and hundredths. Good. Let us record these numbers under them and see. 17.02. 7 will come under unit. 1 under tenths. 0.02. 0 under tenths. And 2 under hundredths. So we're going to multiply it by 6.2. 6 will come under unit, you know, it's a unit digit, and 2 will come under tenths. It's a tenth digit. Now, you notice that in 6.2, the hundredth place value is empty. So I will go and fill it up with 0. Clearly, the decimal digits that you see, there are 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I now know how many times I will move my point in my final result. It's going to be 4 times. Because there are 4 decimal digits there, okay? Now that I've arranged these numbers under their place values, I'm now ready to multiply. I will start, of course, from the smallest place value on your right hand side, the far right, and that is going to be the hundredth place value. Under it, the digit you have is 0. You know, I'm using this number under to multiply the ones on top. I have 0, so I'm going to use 0 to multiply the digits on top. But I'm not going to do that. I won't write that down. I've told you I don't like showing multiplication by 0. We know that it's going to be 0 all through. Okay? If I do that, 0 times 2, record 0 here, 0 times 0, record 0 here, 0 times 7, 0 here, 0 times 1, 0. You can do that, just for fun. Maybe one of our fun classes, I'll show you how it's been done. So I'll move on. I'm going to use 2 to multiply. Are you there? So this is going to be 2 times 2. 2 times 2, which is going to give me 4. But watch. 2 times 2, which is 4. The answer, am I going to record it under hundreds or under tenths? I'm going to record that for under tenths. The reason is because the digit I used to multiply is a tenth digit. So the answer, the first answer I'm going to get will be written under tenths. So 2 times 2 will give me 4. I record it here. I'll move on now. I'm driving to the left now, so I'm going to be fast. 2 times 0 will give me 0. You record it under units. And then next, 2 times 7 is 14. 2 times 7 is what? 14. A 2-digit number. So you're going to record 4. 2 times 7, you get 14. Record 4 and move 1 to the tens place value. Are you following, right? Then finally, 2 times 1, okay, will give you 2. 2 times 1 is 2. Plus this one you carried will give you 3. So I'm going to record 3. I'll shift my hand and record 3 under an invisible place value of 100. So look at how I did this. You can take the video back. Are you following, right? And replay it to see how I handled this. Okay, now let us move on next. I'm going to use 6 to multiply. So we go 6 times 2. 6 times 2. Remember that 6 is a unit digit. The 6 I'm using to multiply is a unit digit. So the first answer I get by using it to multiply this, that answer will be written under unit. Are you following, right? So 6 times 2 is 12. I'm going to record 2 and then move 1 to this next place value. Remember I used 6 to multiply the 100th place value. So recording my 2 because I got 12. I'll now move over the 1 to the 10th place value. Are you following? Then next, I'm going to do 6 times 0. 6 times 0 is 0. Add this one you moved. So you get 0 plus 1, which is 1. Once again, 6 times 0 is 0, plus the 1 that you carried over, you get 1. Record the 1 under this 10th place value. That's under the 4 there. Are you following? I think at this point, I'm multiplying 6 by 7 now. Are you following? 6 times 7 is 42. 6 times 7 is 42. So you are going to record 2 and then move 4 to the next place value. And the next place value, of course, is this 10. Let me write the 4 here. Then finally, we have 6 times 1. 6 times 1 will give us 6. Plus the 4 that you carried over, you get 10. How do you record the 10? You record 0 here, and then you move 1 to this side. This is how you record the 10. You have to shift, give space. This 0 comes under the 1000 place value. This one comes under the invisible tens of 1000 place value. Alright, so I think I'm done with my multiplication. I've used 0 to multiply. So everything is 0 there, so I refused to show it. Used 2 to multiply, I got this row. Used 6 to multiply, I got this row. So at this point, I can now add. So let us add and see. And how do we do our addition? I didn't show that multiplication by 0. Now, when doing my addition, remember, you have to start from the smallest place value. The smallest place value there is hundreds. So I'll come under hundreds, and then I would come to this and add. If you look at this, there is nothing there. Therefore, you bring down 0. Okay, if you had shown that multiplication by 0, you would have seen 0 here, and then under it, there will be nothing. So you bring it down. But because I didn't show it, and I've said, you don't need to punish yourself. If you come to these hundreds, there is nothing there. So you just simply bring down 0. Don't leave it empty like that. That there is nothing means you have 0 there, you bring it down. Okay, so come to the 10th place value, you have 4, you bring down 4. 4 plus nothing, you bring down 4. Under the unit, you have 0 plus 2, which is going to give you 2. Under the tens, you have 4 plus 1, which is 5. You come to this invisible 100 place value. 3 plus 2, you get 5. Come to invisible 1000 place value, nothing plus 0, you bring down your 0. Again, you have your tens of 1000 place value, nothing plus 1. Okay, so you bring down your 1. At this point, I can now move my point. How many times should I move my point in this, my result? I'll move it 4 times from here because we have 4 decimal digits. Look at them, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is going to go 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this is where the point will appear. So I am done. I can now conclude, therefore, 17.02 times 6.2. The answer is 105.5240. This last zero, you can just forget about it because that's the last digit. And you have a decimal point, after which that zero appears at the end. So you can forget about it if you want. 17.02 times 6.2. The answer is 105.524. If you like, you put the zero. Okay, let me just put it. But like I said, that zero is insignificant. It does not mean anything. And this is my answer. Alright, let's move on to question number 3. This solution is solution to question number 2. So for number 3, I'll try to squeeze it out there. This is 0.012 times 5. Now you notice that this has a unit digit which is 0. This 5 is a unit digit. And so in the whole number part, what we have there is actually units. Then let's write out the decimal digit place value. This one has more decimal, you know. So this is tenths, hundreds, and thousands. So this is going to be tenths, you have hundreds, and then you have what? Thousands. And so we have 0.012, you are multiplying it by 5. I'm going to write this one first. This 5 is just one digit number, just one digit. Therefore, I'll prefer to write this number first and then multiply by 5. So this is going to give me 0. Under units for the decimal number here, 0 is the whole number part. So you have 0.012, multiplying it by 5. 5 is a unit digit, you know, so it's going to come under here 5. Now, ordinarily, I am supposed to fill up all these empty place values with zeros. Are you following? I'm supposed to fill them up with zeros, but you can still decide not to fill this one up with zeros. Since 5 is only one digit, you can simply do 5 times 2. Any answer you get, you record it here. Are you following, right? Then 5 times 1, any answer you get, you record it here. 5 times this, any answer you get, you record it here. And then 5 times 0, the answer you get, you record it here. In this case, you have to show your points directly as you are solving. So anytime you're multiplying any decimal number by a one-digit number, don't punish yourself going by all these fill empty place values with 0. It's not necessary. So let us do that and see. 5 times this 2. 5 times 2 will give me 10. 5 times 2 will give me 10. So I will record 0 and then move 1 to this place value. Then 5 times 1 is 5, plus the one I moved is 6. So I will record 6 here. 5 times 0 is 0. You have your 0. Remember, in this case, you did not fill up any empty place value with 0. Therefore, you bring down this point. You bring it down. Because you want to do 5 times 0 now. I've multiplied 5 by this 10th digit and it gave me 0. So next, I am crossing to the whole number part. 5 times 0 under unit here, you know, will give me 0. But before you cross, you have to bring down your point. For this case, you know where your point will be. Because you are multiplying with just one digit number. You are multiplying with a single number. You don't need to go to all those things that I've explained already. But again, if you decide to fill up all these things with empty place values, which is 0, 0, 0, and multiply in that way, the choice is yours. At the end, you count off the number of 0. Of course, if you fill up these things with zeros, you get 6 decimal digits. But like I said, please. You don't do that. Don't punish yourself on that when you are multiplying with just one digit. So finally, 5 times 0, we are going to get 0. 5 times 0, we're going to get 0. And of course, this is my answer. I already know where the decimal point is going to be. Therefore, I can say 0.012 times 5 is equal to 0.060. And like I said, this last 0 does not mean anything, so I can just simply say or 0.06. That is my answer. And of course, this is how we are done with how to multiply decimal numbers. Next, I meet you in our next class. I am going to be teaching you word problem leading to multiplication.